This is my master, Longpa Pramote, on the 25th of January, 2020. Let's practice mindfulness lots and lots. The way to practice is to notice and become aware of mental and physical phenomena as much as we can. So let's be aware within this body. The body is breathing. We are aware. The body stands, sits, lies down, walks. We are aware of this body. Now the body is sitting. And then there's some movement to our side, like the monks walking by now. Our heart wants to see it. There's some movement over there. Our heart wants to go to it. Our body goes and looks because the mind orders it to. Let's learn within this body and mind. If we keep seeing and watching, being aware and within this body and mind, then we'll wash away wrong view. See our head nodding? We're aware that our head is nodding. It isn't anything strange or supernatural to practice the Dhamma. Let's just be aware of our body and our mind. Sitting, we're aware. Breathing, we're aware. Moving like this and that, we're aware of our movements. If we're able to see quickly, then we'll see that the mind is ordering the body to move. Our mind, we can be aware of also. One moment it's happy, the next moment it's unhappy. Sometimes the mind is indifferent or neutral. But we don't see our mind with our eyes. We have to know the feelings that are going on in our heart. It's like watching a movie, but inside we're knowing the feelings that arise within the body and mind as much as we can. Even arahants have feelings in their heart. Tomanat Vedana means the feeling of unhappiness or an unpleasant feeling in the heart. Somanat Vedana is a happy feeling in the heart. There's lots of terms. The body also has happy and unhappy, or pleasant and unpleasant states or feelings, sensations. There's lots of words we can call things. The mind has happy, unhappy, and neutral feelings. The body has happy or unhappy feelings. Actually, happy, unhappy, and neutral in the heart is happening all day long. Every mind moment arises with a feeling. So every time there's a mental factor or formation that arises, there's also a feeling there with it, either happy, unhappy, or neutral. So if we practice watching our own mind, we can do that by seeing the feelings. When happiness arises, we know so. When the happiness disappears, we know so. If unhappiness arises or an unpleasant feeling, we know so. And when it disappears, we know so. If there is a neutral feeling, we know so. And when it disappears, we know so. That's all. Can we know that? Can we do that? Of course we can. We all can. Why wouldn't we know if we're feeling happy now or not? Do we have to force ourselves to and make some posture to know so? Of course not. That's just causing suffering if we force ourselves to know in that way. Everybody's laughing, but they're wearing masks. You can't see the face. But could you feel that giddy feeling in your heart when you were laughing? There's a happiness there. When we feel giddy, there is delusion and there is greed. Those two defilements. But if we laugh and have mindfulness, the heart is wholesome. You can still laugh with mindfulness. So let's see the feelings in our heart. Really, I use the word see or look at, but people can get confused. We're not using our eyes for this, trying to see it from our head. That's not the way to go. Get a headache. A lot of people do that, and it takes a long time to fix it when people are practicing that way. We're just aware. Right? We can even look at the ceiling. Can we look at the ceiling and know if we're feeling happy or unhappy? Right? We just know it. We can sense it or feel it, not with the eyes. Right? The eyes are just looking or staring. The eyes are open and seeing something, but they're not really looking, right? We can just sense our feeling in the heart. So let's be aware. When we're aware of the body, we know that there is a body there. We're aware there's a body. We can be able to notice the different movements of the body. When we're knowing or aware of the mind, we can know what it is that arises in the mind. There isn't just happiness and unhappiness that arises in the mind, but there's also different wholesome and unwholesome mental formations that arise as well. Like anger or aversion. Usually when we're angry, our attention is on the thing that's making us angry. Have you ever been angry at a dog or a cat? Right? Where our mind is out at them. Or angry at ourselves. Where are we lost when we're angry at ourselves? Are we angry at our body? No. We're angry at our minds. But if we know that we are angry, the anger will disappear. Normally we're lost in the thoughts, but if we're able to see the anger, it'll disappear. Many people can use anger as their main object of their practice. Who here is easy to anger or an irritable type personality? Raise your hand. Yeah. About 30 years ago, one of my masters said that there are a lot of hell beings that were reborn as human beings at this time. So what's going to happen in the future from here is the country is going to have lots of difficulties. People that are familiar with or have hearts that have the habit of doing mean and violent things without feeling remorse. People that want to get money or gold and they can just kill somebody and feel okay with it without remorse. People with wholesome hearts can't do any harm very easily, but those that are used to be doing sinful things can do it and feel like, hey, that was fun, or feel neutral, apathetic about it. Who here does bad things and feels good about it? Thinks that it's fun to do bad things? How about if you smack a insect or a mosquito and you feel good you got it? Right? Harming somebody's body or punching them and feeling good about it, or right? Punching or harming somebody, feeling good that we did it, or smacking a mosquito, right? Having some our methodology to getting the mosquito, holding still, not moving, so that the mosquito will land on us, and then smack it, and then feel good about it, right? So we can have a sense, if we like doing harmful things, where we might have come from before this lifetime. Not necessarily just the mosquitoes, but feeling happy and finding it easy to do unwholesome things. Which one's harder to do? Unwholesome things or wholesome things? Raise your hand if you think it's hard to do good or wholesome things. Let's not pretend. A lot of us are good at pretending. The Buddha said that bad people do bad things easily, and do good things. It's difficult to do meritorious deeds or good things. But good people do good things and meritorious things easily, but have a really hard time doing something bad. They can't do it. It depends where we came from. If we came from lower realms, it is easier to do that. We want to steal something or take advantage or take something, just do it. It's used to doing it. But when we're practicing Dhamma and mindfulness and being aware of ourselves, we're not doing it to fix what arises in the heart. So when anger arises or aversion, we just know there is aversion. Instead of just knowing, hey, that person made me angry, they cut me off in traffic, right? Usually we look at the person in the traffic and we want to get them back. We want revenge. How many of us have been cut off and then want revenge and try to cut that person off? Right, so when we're angry, we'll look at the thing that's making us angry. And when we have lust, or love, we'll be out looking at the thing that we're loving or lusting for, not coming back to ourselves. But Dhamma practitioners are like normal people. Their ears hear and their eyes see, their mind thinks. The body makes sense contact with the different senses of the world. And then all the different feelings and reactions come up. The only difference is happiness or unhappiness arises, we know so, or defilements arise in the mind, like greed or aversion, we know so. That's the difference. So a practitioner isn't one that makes their mind empty. Making the mind empty, or somebody yells at our mom, we don't care, temperature is hot, cold, don't even know that it is. Right? That's incorrect. We have ears, let's see. If we have ears, let's hear. If we have eyes, let's see. We have a nose, we get sense, and with our tongue we taste. Body we feel. But then when we make contact with the world, with these senses, there will then be reactions that come up in the heart. We like, we don't like. We have wholesome and unwholesome states that arise in our heart. Let's have the mindfulness that sees what arises. So just be aware. Just be aware of what happens. Sometimes if I'll say, let's have the mindfulness that knows phenomena, it sounds scary, like something supernatural or really difficult to do, but just be aware of what arises in the heart, right? You're scared, just know there's scared. Anger or wandering mind, know that these are there. We just have to practice seeing these things often. We'll see that the anger, for example, is just something that is seen. It is just that which is known. After seeing anger often enough, we'll see that it is the mind that observes or notices the anger, that it's not me noticing the anger. A stream enterer and up who has attained enlightenment, their mind, they understand that they are not their mind. Right? We feel happy, right? We feel that it's I am happy, I am unhappy, I'm good, I'm bad. But the truth is, there isn't a me or a belonging to me. A lot of people just use thought and say, oh, this isn't a me, that isn't a me. So then they think, oh, it doesn't matter if I do good or bad things because there is no people anyway, right? That's dangerous. That's just thinking. That's not really having the wisdom. That's not wisdom. So first of all, we see that we are angry, right? Well, normally people will just see that that person over there made me angry. And then when we start practicing, we'll see that that person made me angry, but we'll see the anger there. After a while, we'll see that the anger is that which is known or seen, but we'll think it's I saw the anger. And then after a while, after that, we'll start to see that there isn't a me, that the mind saw the anger. So it'll get more and more, the understanding will get more subtle, more detailed as we continue. Buddhadasa Bhikkhu would teach that everything is void of a self, and people would read his stuff and kind of get intoxicated by it, thinking, oh, there's no self, there's no self. But I went to see Buddhadasa a long time ago as a layperson, and I asked him, if people read your books, all of your books, your many, many books, will they enlighten, become a stream enter? And he said, no, you have to do the practice. When we practice, we'll first start seeing that the body is like a robot. It's that which is seen. It isn't me. Then we'll start seeing that the different feelings and wholesome and unwholesome states, all the mental formations, are things that are seen or known. They aren't us. Keep practicing. We'll see the body working, the feelings, the workings of the feelings, the workings of the mental formations and phenomena, and then we'll start seeing the mind itself and its working. That it arises and falls. It arises at the eyes and falls away. It arises at the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body, and when it does, it then falls away. The mind that is happy falls away. The mind that is unhappy arises and then falls away. And the mind arises with each defilement and then falls away. There's always a feeling, a Vedana, a feeling with each mind that arises. Also, sanya arises with each mind moment, each mind moment. Sanya is memory and interpretation. It's the aggregate of memory and interpretation. We'll keep practicing and we'll start to see more details. When we listen to it, it sounds hard. But as we keep practicing, we'll see that these different aggregates are not a self. We'll see the body is not a self. But a lot of us will feel like we aren't the body, but the body belongs to us, right? It moves around. It'll feel like it isn't us if we're a practitioner, but still, it might still feel like it is ours, right? Is a car us? No, but a car is ours, right? It belongs to us. We feel that way about it. So a lot of us are at the stage where we still feel like the body is ours. This body is like a vehicle in a way. It needs energy. It can't work without energy. We have to eat to give it energy. And the car needs a driver, right? And the mind is the driver of this body, ordering it, moving it around. The mind orders the body to sit, to stand, to walk, etc. We keep practicing, we'll see that this body is not a person, it's not a him or a her, a me, or any sort of animal. Who can sense that? Who here can sense? No, I'm not saying that you sense it all the time, but just at times, can you notice that the body isn't me, isn't a person? And when happiness and unhappiness arise, can we see that these things are things that are seen, known, or observed, that they aren't us either? Just sense or feel that there's happiness or unhappiness, or a neutral feeling. These things aren't us. They're not a person, an animal, not a them or an us. Memory, right? Memory, we can't command it to remember, right? Sometimes we remember things, sometimes we don't. Sanya is memory, but an interpretation, but it has many levels to it. I'll continue the translation in the next episode of Buddha School. We'll start at my master talking about Sanya. So thanks so much for listening to this one, and I will continue it in another day or two. So watch for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please, and hope you enjoyed. See you next time.